Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal in a shocking turn of events that has left the entertainment world reeling. Kirsten Storms, the beloved actress from General Hospital, announced her sudden departure from the show after more than 2 decades of playing Maxie Jones. The announcement, made via an Instagram video, sent waves of surprise through her fan base and the soap opera community. Kirsten revealed that she would be relocating to Nashville, citing the move as a personal decision to begin a new chapter in her life. While this news was already enough to send shockwaves through her dedicated following, it was the subsequent revelation that her ex-husband, Brandon Barish, had also decided to move to Nashville that truly left fans speculating and eager to understand the reasoning behind this unusual coincidence. Kirsten and Brandon, despite their divorce in 2016, have maintained a close and cooperative relationship, particularly when it comes to raising their daughter, Harper. Both have consistently stated that their divorce was amicable, with no major conflicts, and that they simply grew apart due to differing life goals. However, as Kirsten sought a fresh start in Nashville, Brandon made the surprising decision to leave Los Angeles for the same city. What made the situation even more intriguing was the fact that Brandon's current wife, Isabella, and their son, Joaquin, were notably absent from the move. This prompted many to question the nature of the relationship between Brandon and Kirsten, fueling rumors that perhaps their divorce wasn't as final as it appeared, and that a reunion might be on the horizon. The situation took another twist when reports surfaced suggesting that Kirsten and Brandon may have resumed living together under the same roof. Though both parties have maintained that their cohabitation was solely for the purpose of raising their daughter, the revelation has left many fans and critics uncomfortable. Evidence began to surface that seemed to suggest they were living together as a family once again, causing widespread public backlash. Critics were quick to call out their actions as disrespectful to Isabella and to the sanctity of their current relationships. Many felt that their decision was not only an ethical misstep but also a failure to respect the boundaries of their previous marriages, particularly since Brandon had remarried and Kirsten had her own personal plans for her future. The growing tension surrounding their living arrangement became even more apparent when Isabella, Brandon's current wife, was noticeably absent from the media posts and updates related to Brandon's move. The absence of Isabella and their son from the move sparked widespread speculation that she might be struggling to come to terms with her husband's continued involvement with his ex-wife. Her silence only fueled further speculation, as fans and the media began to wonder if the strain between Isabella and Brandon was leading to cracks in their marriage. With Brandon continuously involved in Kirsten's life, it became clear that his relationship with Isabella was facing an ongoing challenge. People began to worry for the stability of Brandon's family, given his ongoing ties with Kirsten, the woman he had once been married to. Isabella's frustration was becoming increasingly visible to those around her. In a particularly telling moment, she had posted cryptic messages on social media that seemed to reflect her dissatisfaction with the situation, although she had yet to directly address the ongoing rumors surrounding her marriage. It was becoming evident that the situation had reached a boiling point, with Isabella caught in the middle of her husband's close relationship with his ex-wife, a connection that many felt was crossing the line. Fans who had once admired Brandon for his role in Days of Our Lives and General Hospital were now left questioning his character, torn between their admiration for his acting talent and the discomfort of his personal life's complexities playing out so publicly. This unfolding drama has left fans of both Kirsten and Brandon in a state of disbelief. While some still stand by Kirsten, hoping that her decision to step away from General Hospital was made with good intentions, others have become increasingly vocal in their criticism. There are calls for her to be removed from the show, citing concerns over her character and questioning whether someone who engages in such questionable behavior should continue to be celebrated on screen. The entertainment world, known for its often high-profile personal dramas, has never been short of scandal, but this situation has taken the public's fascination to a new level. Kirsten's silence on the matter only serves to stoke the fire of public speculation. While she has defended her actions by explaining that her priority has always been to put her daughter's well-being first, the absence of any direct commentary on the nature of her relationship with Brandon has allowed the rumors to persist unchecked. Meanwhile, Brandon's decision to stay quiet about the details surrounding his personal life has further contributed to the tension, leaving fans to draw their own conclusions. As the situation continues to unfold, it remains to be seen how this will affect their careers, their relationships, and ultimately their place within the public eye. For now, Kirsten and Brandon remain tight-lipped, but the scrutiny of their personal lives shows no signs of abating. With a growing public outcry and increasing dissatisfaction from their respective fanbases, the question remains, will they be able to weather the storm, or will this scandal mark the end of their public personas? One thing is certain, this is a story that will continue to captivate audiences, with no clear resolution in sight. The drama surrounding Kirsten Storms and Brandon Barish continues to unfold in increasingly unexpected and complicated ways, leaving the entertainment world and their fanbase reeling. What began as an innocuous decision by Kirsten to step away from General Hospital after more than 20 years in the role of Maxie Jones has evolved into a full-blown scandal. Kirsten's announcement that she would be moving to Nashville, a personal choice she claimed was motivated by a desire for a fresh start, shocked many of her devoted fans. However, the situation grew far more complicated when Brandon Barish, her ex-husband and father of their daughter, Harper, also revealed that he too had made the decision to relocate to Nashville. This unexpected twist has sparked intense speculation and debate, as the public wonders whether this is merely a coincidence or if there is a deeper, more personal reason behind their actions. Kirsten and Brandon's relationship had always been one of mutual respect despite their divorce in 2016. They had maintained a close and cooperative dynamic when it came to raising their daughter, something that both parties emphasized during their divorce proceedings. Their public statements suggested that the decision to part ways was amicable, with neither party harboring resentment. Both Kirsten and Brandon asserted that their split was based on differing life goals and that they remained committed to co-parenting Harper in the healthiest way possible. Given their history of working together for the sake of their daughter, many fans assumed that Kirsten's move to Nashville was simply another step in her journey as a single mother, allowing her to focus on her personal life while still maintaining a connection with her ex-husband. However, the announcement that Brandon was also relocating to Nashville raised more than a few eyebrows. What began as a personal decision about Kirsten's future now seemed intertwined with the personal choices of Brandon as well, and fans were left wondering about the true nature of their relationship post-divorce. The plot thickened when reports surfaced indicating that Kirsten and Brandon might have resumed living together. While both of them publicly maintained that their cohabitation was for the sole purpose of providing a stable environment for Harper, many began to question whether this was truly the only reason behind their decision. The public, already critical of the idea that two divorced individuals would live together under the same roof, began to grow increasingly suspicious. Was this really about co-parenting, or was there a more complex, perhaps more personal, reason behind their choice? The allegations that they had resumed a romantic relationship, hidden under the guise of shared custody, have only intensified the controversy. Critics quickly pointed out that their actions, regardless of the reasons, were not only disrespectful to their current relationships but also raised ethical concerns about their behavior. Many felt that Kirsten and Brandon's decision to live together, if not based on genuine need, could be seen as an attempt to keep their bond intact for reasons that went beyond the well-being of their daughter. The accusations of irresponsibility have extended beyond their personal lives and into their public personas. As their actions were scrutinized by both fans and the media, the lack of transparency from both Kirsten and Brandon only fueled the fire. The silence from the pair has been deafening, with neither offering a clear explanation or justification for their living arrangement. The public's imagination ran wild as speculation grew. Was Kirsten simply seeking comfort in the familiar? Was there more to her decision to move to Nashville than she was willing to admit? And what about Brandon? Why was he so eager to follow Kirsten to a city that had long been associated with personal and professional reinvention? As each day passed without a formal statement from either Kirsten or Brandon, the public grew more divided, with some defending them as simply doing what was best for their daughter, while others saw their actions as self-serving and morally questionable. Isabella Devoto, Brandon's current wife, has been notably silent on the matter, but her absence from public posts and media appearances only added to the mystery. Fans quickly noticed that in several of Brandon's social media updates about his move to Nashville, there was no mention of Isabella or their son Joaquin, even though both were living with him in Los Angeles. This absence raised alarm bells, with many wondering if Isabella was aware of or complicit in Brandon's decision to move so closely to his ex-wife. Was Isabella's silence a sign of acceptance, or was it a reflection of her growing frustration with her husband's continued involvement with Kirsten? Fans were quick to assume the latter, with some even speculating that the tension between Isabella and Brandon had reached a breaking point. If anything, Isabella's silence only seemed to validate the idea that there was something more going on beneath the surface, something that both Kirsten and Brandon were choosing to keep private. As the controversy continued to unfold, it became clear that the situation was taking a toll on both Kirsten and Brandon's public images. What was once seen as a simple personal decision was now a full-scale scandal, with many questioning their ethics and personal integrity. Fans of General Hospital, who had long admired Kirsten for her portrayal of Maxie, began to voice their disappointment and outrage. Many felt betrayed by her actions, believing that her personal choices had irreparably damaged her relationship with her fanbase. For them, it wasn't just about the off-screen drama, it was about the way that Kirsten's behavior was affecting the show they loved. They argued that no matter how much they admired her work on the screen, her personal life was now too messy and too controversial to ignore. The public outcry grew to such a level that fans began calling for Kirsten to be removed from General Hospital entirely. The argument was simple: how could a star with such questionable behavior continue to be celebrated on a show that was supposed to represent family values and healthy relationships? The backlash was especially severe because many fans felt that Kirsten had betrayed the very values she portrayed on screen. In their eyes, the line between her professional and personal lives had been blurred to the point where they could no longer separate the two. They felt that a public figure who engaged in such morally dubious behavior had no place in a beloved, family-oriented series. Amidst the growing criticism, Kirsten remained tight-lipped. Despite the mounting pressure, she refused to comment on the situation or offer any further explanation. Her silence, once again, only served to fuel the fire of speculation. Fans and critics alike were left wondering whether she would ever address the controversy directly, or if she would allow the storm to pass without providing the answers many were desperate to hear. It was clear that the longer she stayed silent, the more the public's anger would continue to fester. As for Brandon, his refusal to address the issue only deepened the mystery surrounding his relationship with Kirsten, and fans began to question his motivations as well. In the end, Kirsten and Brandon's personal lives have become a spectacle, one that threatens to overshadow their professional careers. Whether they will be able to repair their damaged reputations, both publicly and within their personal circles, remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that their actions have raised difficult questions about the nature of relationships, loyalty, and personal responsibility in the public eye. As fans continue to voice their anger, it seems that Kirsten and Brandon will be facing a long road ahead, one where their every move will be watched, dissected, and critiqued by a public that now questions everything they once believed about these two former stars. As the public continues to express anger and disappointment, the situation surrounding Kirsten Storms and Brandon Barish has become increasingly fraught with complexity. Kirsten, a beloved actress known for her long-standing role as Maxie Jones on General Hospital, had previously been viewed as someone who managed to balance her career with her personal life in a way that many admired. Her decision to step away from the show after more than 2 decades and move to Nashville raised eyebrows. At first, it seemed like a simple personal decision, a fresh start for a woman who had long been in the public eye. However, as the story unfolded, what seemed like a benign relocation has now become the center of a storm of controversy that threatens not only Kirsten's career but also the public's perception of her. Kirsten's defense has been consistent. She claims that the decision to move to Nashville is primarily for the benefit of her daughter, Harper. She has emphasized that her relationship with Brandon, her ex-husband, remains strong, and that the two of them have always put their daughter's needs first. According to Kirsten, the move is an extension of this commitment to co-parenting, providing Harper with a stable environment that will help her grow up in a positive atmosphere. She insists that the move is in no way an attempt to reignite her relationship with Brandon, but rather a step toward a peaceful and healthy co-parenting arrangement. Kirsten's supporters, particularly those who are close to her or have followed her career for years, have echoed this sentiment, praising her for taking responsibility for her daughter's well-being. However, as Kirsten and Brandon's actions have come under more scrutiny, the public's view of their motivations has become increasingly suspicious. The fact that Brandon, her ex-husband and father of their daughter, made the decision to also relocate to Nashville raised more questions than it answered. Fans quickly began to wonder, was this move truly about providing a better life for Harper, or was there something more at play? The timing of Brandon's move, following closely on the heels of Kirsten's announcement, seemed too coincidental to many, and rumors began to circulate that their close bond was not as amicable as they were letting on. In fact, some speculated that Kirsten and Brandon may have rekindled their romantic relationship. The decision to live together in the same city, after years of being divorced, led many to believe that they were not simply co-parenting but perhaps reuniting in a more intimate capacity. This speculation was only fueled when reports surfaced suggesting that Kirsten and Brandon were, in fact, living together again. Despite their insistence that they were simply doing so for the sake of their daughter, many began to see their cohabitation as a breach of the boundaries they had set after their divorce. Critics questioned whether this arrangement was truly about Harper, or if it was a calculated attempt by the former couple to continue their emotional connection, hidden behind the guise of co-parenting. The accusations of irresponsibility were swift and harsh, with many fans feeling that Kirsten and Brandon were not only disrespecting their current relationships but also playing fast and loose with public expectations of responsible behavior. The lack of transparency around their living situation led many to conclude that Kirsten and Brandon were using their daughter as an excuse to justify what appeared to be a much more personal and romantic arrangement. The public's perception of their actions quickly shifted from sympathy to outrage, as fans felt betrayed by the apparent manipulation of their daughter's well-being. As the media continued to report on the situation, Isabella Devoto, Brandon's current wife, became an increasingly important figure in the narrative. Though Isabella has remained largely silent about the situation, her absence from Brandon's public updates on the move to Nashville raised suspicions. In multiple social media posts, Brandon had shared pictures of the new home he was settling into, but nowhere in his posts did he mention his wife or their child, Joaquin. This absence led many to believe that Isabella was either unaware of the true nature of Brandon's relationship with Kirsten or, more troublingly, was being left out of the family dynamic altogether. Fans quickly began to question how Isabella felt about her husband's continued closeness to his ex-wife. Was she aware of the potential rekindling of their romance? Was she complicit in Brandon's decision, or was she being forced to accept it silently? Isabella's silence only added fuel to the fire, as fans speculated on her emotional state and the toll this situation might be taking on her. The lack of a direct response from Isabella or Brandon only served to deepen the mystery and intensify the public's anger. Many fans began to sympathize with Isabella, feeling that she was being unfairly placed in a difficult and compromising situation. The more Brandon remained silent, the more the public assumed that his relationship with Kirsten was more than just amicable co-parenting. The suspicion that they had rekindled their romance, even if they had not formally acknowledged it, only grew stronger. At this point, Isabella was seen as the silent victim in this drama, and the public began to rally around her, calling out Brandon for his apparent disregard for his current wife's feelings. Meanwhile, Kirsten, too, was not immune to the criticism. Her supporters remained loyal, insisting that she had every right to make choices for her daughter's well-being. However, the majority of her fan base, once devoted and supportive, began to voice their disappointment in her behavior. The growing sense of betrayal from her fans, who had long admired her both as an actress and as a mother, was palpable.